The state of technology is continually improving. Although we visited the moon, we are now discussing a trip to Mars and how we'll colonize it in the near future. The journey from Europe to America would take hours, which would have taken weeks some decades back. In this video, we're going to step back and examine some of the incredible and satisfying machines that technology has brought about to make our lives easier, so you can see how far we've come. Here are the most satisfying machines that will amaze you. Chain makers. Chains are something that we frequently just take for granted, but they're actually quite intricate and pretty amazing to make. As you're aware, chains are used to lock and secure a variety of objects, thus they're made to be nearly unbreakable and should be able to bear tremendous forces. Individual pieces of the metal coil are put into a machine one at a time to start the chain. In order to form the metal coil, electrical tools that are moving in from all sides of the machine must bend violently. A device known as a jaw drives the metal forward while the other jaw twists it around a steel pin, curving it into a C shape and finally bent into a closed position by a different jaw. Once this ring is fastened, it turns into chains. It's time to create another one, but because these metal locks and security devices are used to lock and secure goods, extra precautions must be taken to assure their safety. As a result, the rings are frequently heated during construction. We can observe in this video how one chain link can read the heat while another has become yellow. This extra step significantly increases the chain's overall strength and longevity, since heating the metal increases its general resistance to corrosion and enhances its overall strength and resistance. Press the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell so we can go on with the other satisfying machines. Braiding machine. Next, we'll examine the 911 Turbo Exclusive Series, Porsche's elite supercar. This supercar is a remarkable machine in and of itself, but we'll be focusing on the remarkable machine used to create its wheels. These innovative carbon wheels will make driving more enjoyable and exciting. Because the automobile will be 20 pounds lighter thanks to these wheels, there will be a lot of benefits, including decreased fuel use. Most significantly for Porsche drivers, it can accelerate far more quickly and is simpler to stop. But equally impressive manufacturing equipment is what makes this new technology possible. Although a braiding machine may conjure images of stitching or textiles, it's really used to make this wheel, which resembles a massive Ferris wheel. This equipment functions similarly to how carbon fibers are weaved into the wheels. The primary material in these wheels, carbon fiber composite, can be produced by this enormous machine in lengths of up to 18 kilometers. With a diameter of almost 9 meters, this machine is the biggest radial braiding machine in the whole globe. These rims are not inexpensive. Don't expect them to appeal to average vehicle buyers anytime soon, because a set of these carbon wheels costs $8,000, or about the same as an economy car. As a result, the money saved on gasoline may be a little meaningless. The orange shaker. Our following device is a little more understated, yet it is a fantastic issue solution. The process of removing oranges from the tree is among the most challenging parts of gathering them. It could take a while to pick them up piece by piece if you use a ladder, especially considering how hot it could be outside during harvest. A Valencia, Spain orange tree is shown in the video. The tree's bark is simply grabbed by this orange shaking device, which then gently shakes it until all of the oranges fall. Naturally, a lot of leaves fall as well, but this method, which is very different from how oranges are typically harvested, saves a tremendous amount of time. Usually you need a ladder and a large bag, and you take things down gradually. Although farmers occasionally use clippers to cut the branches off to save time, this is a typically extremely difficult and taxing process. However, Valencian oranges have a stronger, bitter flavor and are often not consumed by humans. Therefore, shaking the tree is more of a cleanup procedure than a fruit gathering activity. Oranges like this are composted. The personnel who clean and maintain the city of Valencia now have a lot less work on their hands thanks to these tree-shaking devices, which make the machine extremely beneficial. Therefore, if you're fortunate enough to be strolling through Valencia's bright streets, keep an eye out for these. Bale wrappers. If you thought the tree shaker made life much simpler, wait till you see the bale wrapper, since, as you may know, farmers collect hay bales using a hay baler. Farm animals can be fed hay, which prevents overgrazing of the grass on the land and prevents hunger during the winter months when there is less growth on the farm. Have you ever driven past a farm and seen big hay bales that were plastic wrapped? This preserves the hay's freshness and prevents other animals from consuming it. Wrapping these enormous bales in plastic often requires a lot of laborious effort and might take hours. However, thanks to this groundbreaking new baler, this is gradually becoming a thing of the past. Hay bales can be wrapped in plastic for 4 reasons per Penn State extension. These include a shorter drying period, improved leaf retention over dry hay, no requirement for storage facilities, and a decrease in weather risk. The expense of covering these bales and disposing of the plastic are the drawbacks. Hay bales would have been wrapped manually in the past, but as you can see with this machine, it's now possible to do so mechanically. This incredible device makes it possible for the farmer to accomplish even more labor while exerting less effort. Tree processors. It seems like a lot of laborious work to have to cut down the tree, then once it has fallen, have to cut off all of its branches once more. However, the tree processors make it simple for the tree loggers. Here we can observe how the tree is lifted into a vise and then its branches are cut off as the tree moves through the machine. The machine's ability to keep the tree motionless while moving it up and down using two claw-like grips is quite astounding. The branchless trunk is chopped off at the end after it reaches a particular length. This straightforward device had cut a few logs of the same size from the tree, and all of this had been accomplished by someone merely turning the controls and only moving their fingers. Taffy pulling machine. Taffy is a delectable soft candy that's created from cooked molasses or brown sugar. Since you are essentially eating sugar, it isn't the healthiest option, but it definitely does look good. Here, enormous taffy lumps are placed on a machine like a turntable. Typically, 2 workers are needed to operate this machine, one to draw and stretch the taffy, and the other to cut it off. As the taffy is continually recombined, you may finally notice a slight change in color. You may witness this job being done in the old Mill Sweets kitchen. Taffy is said to have started in New Jersey in the 1870s, but there is evidence that it's also existed in the Middle East more than 1,000 years earlier. Avocado peeler. Moving from sweet taffy to ripe avocados. Simply place some avocados in the avocado peeler and it'll automatically remove all the skin and the pit from the avocado. If you were preparing guacamole manually, you'd need to individually peel off all the avocados, then mash them by hand to use on avocado toast or the paste needed to make guacamole. This device can peel up to 280 avocados per minute, which is highly effective. Because the machine is composed of stainless steel, cleaning it is simple. Although they appear to be a highly popular fruit right now, they have really been around and loved for quite some time. In the 16th century, as Spanish conquistadors conquered Mexico and colonized Central and South America, the avocado rose to great popularity. Further into Latin America, they started cultivating avocados. The fact that they weren't always named avocados is another fascinating tidbit. Sir Hans Sloane, an Irish adventurer who is credited with creating chocolate milk, termed the avocado tree the alligator pear tree, but his moniker does not appear to have stuck. Unfortunately, the manufacturing of these tasty fruits destroys a lot of trees, making them bad for the ecosystem. So be gentle on the avocado. Pad printing. If you don't know what pad printing is, you've probably seen it on your laptop. Pad printing is what is used to paint the letters, numbers, and symbols on the keys. When ink is transferred onto the surface of anything in a highly precise form using a silicon pad, the process is frequently referred to as pad printing, tomography, or tempo printing. You can practically do this with a computer, but imagine using a rubber stamp instead. What happens if you want a piece of artwork on a diamond ring or printed on a golf ball? These devices are designed to print very intricate patterns on a variety of things. Shoes, golf balls, electric wires, and a long list of other small, curved and crooked surfaces may all be printed on. Signature machine. Pad printing is incredible, but what if a machine could mimic human handwriting? Well, it's true that technology exists that can duplicate human handwriting and produce your signature. This signature machine was created by watchmaker J.K. Droves. When you insert a pencil into its retractable claw and let go, it duplicates the owner's signature and cannot be used to fake the signatures of others, unlike machines where a set of gears and springs automatically create signatures. Therefore, you cannot just sell celebrity signatures on eBay using the machine. What if the machine is stolen, you might possibly be wondering. Well, what if someone manages to get their hands on this device and begins writing checks in my name? Since it has a 4-digit PIN requirement inside, even if someone manages to steal it, they won't be able to sign documents on your behalf. These signature machines cost $360,500 US, which is a little pricey. Saucepan rings. This movie spends a lot of time examining commonplace items that you use every day, but seldom give any thought to. Have you ever wondered how the rings at the bottom of your pan got there after examining them? You might be surprised at the methods used to create them in this video. When a blade is forced up against the saucepan that has been tossed into the machine and is spinning rapidly at that point, it creates concentric circles on the surface. The saucepan finally transitions from red to stainless steel. These circular rings are functional as well as beautiful. They prevent the pan from slipping. Additionally, they enhance the pan's bottom surface area, which increases the efficiency with which heat is transferred to the pan. 3D house printers. The 3D printer is one of today's most astounding technologies. As you probably already know, a printer creates flat sheets of paper with only 2 dimensions. There are countless possibilities with this printer because it can create 3-dimensional objects. In Austin, Texas, we have one of the first homes made from 3D printing materials that were constructed in 8 days, whereas under normal circumstances it typically takes around 26 weeks to build a house. It has been predicted that in the future these things will print jewelry, car parts and even human organs. The entire house has printed walls. According to architect Melody Yasher, the dwelling's concrete wall serves as insulation to retain the heat inside and are reinforced with steel. Basically, to 3D print, we employ a big gantry-based 3D printer that deposits a proprietary material we've created known as lava creek layer by layer. So why would you utilize a 3D printer to construct a house? For many individuals in Austin, Texas, it is quicker and cheaper to construct in this manner, which are its 2 key benefits. Simply put, housing is too pricey. With this technology, you can construct homes for a lot less money. They can be produced much more quickly and property prices decrease as the number of homes rise. This innovation may completely alter the playing field. Marble music. Our next device is less useful, but it is an illustration of how much fun technology can be. One of the most peculiar musical instruments ever created is the marble machine. The Swedish band Vintergatan has created a device that uses a marble dropping mechanism to play several instruments including drums, a bass and other percussion. This device, which employs about 2,000 marbles, can essentially produce music through the use of levers and pulleys. The Speelkoek Museum in the Netherlands, which specializes in self-playing musical instruments, served as the source of inspiration for the marble machine. The band was invited to the museum to display their invention after spending 16 months building it. The machine needed to be taken apart and then put back together again since it was too large to fit through the room's entryway. So what does the music first sound like? Marbles falling may be heard, which isn't really musically stunning. But when more marbles move and more levers are pushed, a lovely xylophone sound begins to play. Other levers with cymbals and drums inscribed on them are added to the tune before the bass is audible. What was basically the sound of marbles has become a really catchy melody. Halfway through the song, the only sound you can hear is the marble machine, but it quickly picks back up. After watching this video, listen to the music, which is titled Marble Machine. Car shredder. If you're getting rid of your automobiles, you'll undoubtedly try to sell it as a used vehicle, but eventually you have to realize that the old lady has no more life in her, and you should take her back to the scrapyard. Every scrapyard has a machine that breaks down cars and utilizes their components as scrap metal, but the one used by Newport, Wales is undoubtedly unique. This scrapyard has been using the biggest industrial shredder in the world since 2006. According to junkcomparison.co.uk, it operates similarly to previous shredders, but on a massive scale, turning 450 automobiles into 350 tons of metal per hour. It is directly connected to the Welsh national power system in order to have enough electricity because it consumes a lot of power. Apparently, the machine automatically separates the steel from other elements in the automobiles, including glass, rubber and plastic, after heavy-duty hammers quickly rotate on the car and break it down. What are they going to do with this scrap metal then? Reusing waste metal is wonderful for the environment and is supposedly exported to Southeast Asia, where there is a large need. Dumping machines. First, let's examine technologies related to dump trucks. Normal dump trucks have the ability to tilt up and empty their whole load, but what about longer dump trucks? What about dump trucks which would need a lot more force to tip them up? So it appears that this issue has been resolved by these dumping trucks. As seen in the video, a platform is driven into by the dump truck, and a mysterious contraption magically raises the fully laden vehicle to a 45-degree angle. The entire vehicle and its parts are lifted onto a slanted angle by 2 steel rods that emerge from the ground. The trailer rear then opens, allowing gravity to do its work and unload the cargo. The machine elevates the truck even higher so that it may empty out the full load at first. Otherwise, just the load from the bottom half of the trailer comes out. This has a lot of advantages for vehicles hauling heavy cargo. The biggest benefit is that the truck may save a ton of energy because it doesn't have to use its own weight to move the full load. You also save money on labour expenses since, as we'll see with many other devices on this list, the entire trailer can be emptied with little to no work by humans. This is really time and effort efficient. Diamant Plow. We'll examine the incredible Diamant Plow last. This plow can spin slowly as the ground gets sturdier and is designed to work in all types of soil and terrain. The plow is unquestionably something we take for granted, yet without it, life as we know it now would have been very different thousands of years ago. With a plow, humans would no longer need to rely on hunting and gathering for food. As a result, food became less scarce. Farming required several people to work on the same piece of land. From there, communities and eventually civilization itself grew. As you probably already know, plowing is the process of preparing the soil on a field before sowing seeds. The technique was utilized by first using a horse to pull a plow through a field, followed by a tractor, but even the plow and tractor approach is continually being improved upon due to a number of other intriguing qualities. The tractor line frequently changes towards the center of the tractor's rear axle and lessens pressure at the headlands since the plow is not stiff and is flexible enough to twist and spin up to 90-degree angles. This increases pulling force and increases fuel efficiency by 10%. This plow occasionally powers itself and even relieves the weight from the tractor since the force of a tractor is sometimes insufficient to carry a plow. This is another machine that makes life much simpler, and that is all we have time to look at today. If there are any other devices that have impressed you, or if you have any ideas for future videos, let us know in the comments. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, since we've got plenty more fascinating videos heading your way.